6 o'clock?
No, we did not receive any.
Okay. So why don't we turn to Tony for his report? That'll get us started.
Okay. I have a monthly report through May of 2022, and the result is a year-end surplus of slightly over $800,000. And so that leaves us with a positive $400,000 in our fund balance added to our fund balance at the end of the year, which brings us to about 13.8%. I think some of the major activities and revenues, we had basically three sources of revenue that generated a majority of our surplus. One was a FEMA grant that FEMA reimbursement we received for $193,000. That's like $30,000 more this month. We received some additional funds from that we didn't anticipate. Keep in mind that reimburses us for expenditures from prior years. So, but in this particular year, it adds to our surplus. The Board of Education, we had a budget of $70,000, and the Board of Education did a lot of work at their special education excess cost grant this year, and so we have a surplus there of $255,000. So we received over $300,000 in special ed excess cost reimbursement. So that's another area where we had some surplus. And finally, we have a surplus of about $200,000 in building permits. That's largely due to an upgrade of the water treatment facility. That's a good portion of that. And then just activity level is high overall. So those are our major revenue highlights that continue throughout the year. The expenditures mostly center around the staffing surpluses in the building official surplus of about $30,000. That's due to part-time wage savings mostly. The human services is projected a $35,000 surplus. Again, just the timing of when part-time wages were used and when programs came back online. In the library is $42,000 surplus, again, savings in wages and part-time wages mostly. And that's I believe they're at full staff now, and but that was for a majority of the beginning of the year. And as of May 1st, the Board of Education reported a surplus of $22,530. Those are our major highlights for the month. We have one more month to go.
Any questions for Tony? Or I guess I have to call you Tone.
Is that what it says on there?
No, but that's what Matt
Oh,
calls you.
oh, that's what Matt calls me. Yeah, right. Right.
Um, you want to give the feature report that you told me about?
So this is you have in your package this is Karen through June 1st.
He's got the date as June 9th.
Right, so it appears as if was pretty new information. This was after I put together my report for the selectmen. So the looks like the new surplus for the Board of Education is $3,600. So it's a little lower than what was reported in May. So it looks like they're pretty much on budget.
All right, and you've got here under your report the interactive budget tool update.
Yes. So when we put together the budget book this year, we used a new online budget tool, if you recall, and that was allowed a lot of information to be posted online. And so part of that budget package that we are looking to progress to is an online budget system where department heads would enter their information for their budget online, and it's a virtual sort of online budget process from creating the budget. So instead of having a book this thick, you will have the option of having an online version where you can just simply carry around a tablet or a laptop or something of that nature and be able to access the same information, probably more information because there will be some virtual charts and graphs that will be added in. But it's more of a virtual sort of budget experience.
Does that sort of change the tech requirements for your department in terms of,
So we have to work out the technical piece of this and in town hall, it doesn't. The question is, are any of board members interested in, or the selectmen or finance interested in this option? Or there's a way to do it traditionally as well, but it saves us a lot of time because we don't have to do a lot of spreadsheets and a lot of, you know, Word documents. It's just a lot of administrative work that gets reduced significantly because it's all online.
well, I assume it also ends up saving in paper and toner
Oh,
and
definitely,
notebooks
definitely.
and all the other stuff.
Yeah, and supplies and a lot of Karen's time, making sure everything's formatted correctly, making
Right.
sure that the people, when they submit their information, the spreadsheets actually total correctly, making sure that, right, Karen?
Yes.
Making sure everything adds up properly. So a lot of that takes a lot of time and so it's much more efficient as well.
Any
So,
questions for
well,
Tony or
we'll have more on
Karen?
that, but I just wanted to let you know it's,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, my question is, right, when it's ready, will you show us
yes,
and
yes,
walk us through it, and then we'll know what
yeah, right, correct.
thanks.
Yeah.
Some of us, you'll walk us through it and we still won't know, but we'll do our best. Right? Okay.
Correct, that's correct.
Anything else from on the finance report or anything else you're offering, Tony?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Um,
Hey, Tony, I
in
got
time.
one question for you.
oh, go
Sure.
ahead. Mike.
Amity budget, since the Amity budget approved just this past week, what effect is that gonna have on our overall,
So the effect is that there'll be a surplus in that line throughout the year of the difference between the adopted budget and what we had in our budget. And so that surplus will remain. So that's one impact it'll have. The next impact it'll have is going budget to budget. When we start off, we're at a higher amount. So even if our increase, let's say next year, they have an increase of 3%, well, our actual increase will be less because we're starting from a higher base, right? So it has a positive impact that way also. That the increase won't be as much in our particular budget because of
okay?
that reason. Yeah.
I was just curious,
Yeah.
what was the amount? What's the amount that we're gonna reap?
I have that here. Surplus wise, you mean?
Yeah,
I'll get that for you. And
I was just curious, that's all.
it's it's over 100,000. It was 120 maybe, somewhere in that neighborhood.
I remember 137-ish or something, Tony.
Yeah. It's around there.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay,
no better.
Yeah, 130.
okay, all right, okay, thank you.
Anything else for Tony?
But our mill rate is locked in though, right?
That's correct. Yeah, our mill rate was locked in at the higher amount because we had to use the latest information that we had available to us at the time.
Anything else? The next item is funding requests, and there's a couple of them.
So before you begin on the funding request, I just want to mention that most of these requests, I think, 2, 3, all of them but one, but two. The first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are items that were removed from the adopted budget this year, the budget process, mostly capital, and with the intent of using contingency to pay for these projects. So it's a process we do each year when we have contingency remaining, and in order to try to reduce the budget for next year, we board cut a few projects with the intent of using contingency to pay for those projects, and that's what these are, contingency transfers.
So as we're getting to the end of the year, contingency will get closer and closer to zero.
Correct. We had
It's-
probably, yeah, we had $135,000 left in contingency out of $150,000 contingency. So a
Right.
lot of our departments we had pretty much a mild winter, and a lot of our departments know that they're contingency is not just, it's for emergencies only, really.
Right. All right. So with that in mind, I'll entertain a motion for a request for funding 2122-15 in the amount of $40,000 having to do with underground heating oil storage at Beecher. Your motion? I don't know. Oh, Ellen made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Tony, you want to talk about this?
Sure. This project and the following project are related. And they are removals of underground heating oil tanks that are no longer being used at the Beecher and one at the Country Club. They're both relatively new, so we're hoping we do not have any problems when we remove the tanks in terms of former leaks or et cetera. But we'll have our environmental engineer with us, and he'll be documenting what we find. And if we find anything, he'll report it to the state for us as we're supposed to, and then we'll act accordingly. When we've done other tanks, sometimes you find a little bit from spillage or from for other reasons. So,
I have a question. Is this the same contractor for both these removals?
yes, it's going to be the same. Actually, the town staff is doing a lot of the work.
Oh,
So the price, the funding requests are for rental of equipment that we need to dispose of the items, to hire for an environmental engineer to oversee the project, and for some other sort of, some equipment and some materials.
okay. Any other questions on 2122-15 for 40,000? All in favor? I see it's unanimous.
Yep.
Dwight, Ellen, Donovan, Susan. Anyone object? No abstentions. Okay. So I'll entertain a motion for 2122-16 in the amount of $35,000.
So moved.
Dwight, Ellen seconds, and are there any questions? We pretty much already got the explanation. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Also unanimous, and no objections, no abstentions. Entertain a motion for 2122-17 in the amount of $37,000 for funds to replace the fire marshal's vehicle. Just to get it started, is there a motion?
So moved.
Dwight and Ellen seconded. Tony, you want to tell us about this?
Certainly. In the budget, there was funding for a fire marshal's vehicle. We currently have $13,000 already. As you can tell with the memo from the chief, it's in disrepair. I know the fire marshal uses a vehicle for all of his inspections. And so it's an important vehicle for him. And so we currently have 13. The chief is looking to purchase a new vehicle on state contract, which is about 50, which gives them the room to store a lot of the equipment that he carries around. And so this was also in the capital budget. And it was actually a little more. We reduced it a little. And so that's the request.
What's he actually buying?
Usually buys a Ford or a.
Oh, a
or
Ford Expedition. Oh, I see.
Expedition,
Okay.
yeah. That's
Okay.
what we have currently. Well, it depends which one's on state contract and which one's the
Right.
cheapest one, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor? I
Aye.
see everybody at the same time. We're all in favor. Anybody objections? No objections, no abstentions.
I know cars lately, I hear, they've been a little pricey. I don't know, 50 is gonna get him.
Yeah, good point. Pricey, and also, we'll probably wait till, February to get the car at this rate.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
There's
we
a
just-
long lead time to get them.
Yeah, my husband and I just had to do a new lease, and the guy kept saying, yep, it's on the boat, it's on the boat, it's on the boat. A long time. I'll entertain a motion for funding request 2122-18 in the amount of $15,000. This is for security.
For the
No
doors,
motion?
right, Tony?
Correct, yeah.
So moved.
All right, Dwight moved it. I'll second it. Tell us about this one, Tom.
This is a second part of the police department's security enhancement to replace all their key locks with electronic door locks, like we have in town hall, like we have in the fire department and all the other buildings. So that's really the last building to be done. I think we were sort of waiting to see if a project was gonna take place, but it, that's a few years out, so. That's why we
Okay.
decided to do it, yeah.
Any questions, discussion, concerns? All in favor?
All right.
We got unanimous here.
Yep.
Entertain a motion for funding request 2122-19 in the amount of 1806, very specific.
So moved.
All right, I'll second it. Is this a
This is,
self-explanatory?
yeah, self-explanatory. It's to replace a taser that, it's not adding a taser, it's replacing a taser that is out of, that's, basically can no longer use. They have to be certified. They have to be, a certain less standard. And, their one they have is no longer usable. So
It's been tased out.
phased out,
Um,
phased out.
Phased out, yeah. There you go.
Donovan likes my sense of humor. That's a good thing. Okay. We have a motion. I'll move it.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
All right.
We're good. Okay.
So that's the last of the budget ones.
And then there's another one here though, right?
There's two more. Yeah.
Two more, right, two more. Can I get a motion for 2122-20 in the amount of $26,000? This is to fund asbestos abatement for the senior center project.
So moved.
Okay, Dwight moved it, Ellen seconded. Tony, you want to say anything about this one?
Yeah, so when we were putting together the senior center project, one of the tasks that we had to do was, as Dwight knows, is to, the town is responsible for removing all of the asbestos before the project begins. And so, when we, went through and did a survey, there was a little more than we had anticipated, including some asbestos, most of it's under glue under tiles.
Yeah.
There's some, insulation on some piping, and, there's some in the ceiling. So there's like 3-4 areas where we have to remove the asbestos. I think the tile floor is the one that's the most expensive part of it.
Yep.
Yeah. So
takes a while.
it's not in the budget. Yeah.
So does the whole building get shut down during that abatement period?
No, just the
or
senior center
just
portion.
the senior center? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We made a motion, correct? Any further questions, discussions? All in favor?
All right.
Any objections? Any abstentions? No. Okay. And Tony, I know you want to talk about this one. I'll make the motion. For 2122-21 in the amount of $59,810.18. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Dwight's got the second. Tony, I know you want to talk about this.
Yes, if you recall, a few months back, the town had a refunding request from the Board of Education from Stratford, where the town of Stratford had owed the town money for student-specific costs for
Special services.
special services, right, for the program that they use. And so we had transferred it back to them to cover one-on-one special education costs. Because the funds are from a prior year, the Board of Ed can't accept the funds. We have to take the funds in and transfer them to the Board of Ed. Well, this is a similar circumstance with the city of New Haven. And the New Haven Board of Education has paid close to $60,000 related to prior year costs that the board would like to use for one-on-one special education expenditures.
Any questions?
I have a question. So they paid us for last year, and now we can give it back to them for current expenses that they
Correct.
anticipate.
It's exactly right. It's a timing issue.
Okay,
So,
thank
and I believe Dr. Blood had anticipated this when creating his, in his budget and his year-end sort of analysis about using these funds for that purpose.
But there was something glitchy about this particular procedure this year. I don't remember what it was. Somehow they didn't pay us and we had to go after it or something
Right,
like
it's
that.
the same thing with this. They didn't pay us, so they had to go after them. And
Okay.
there, I believe this is a portion of it. I'm not sure it's the entire amount, right?
Okay.
It's my
Okay.
understanding.
So we're just transferring it back over to the Board of Ed.
Right, right.
Okay. Any further
If
questions?
if this was last year, they would have taken in the funds that it wouldn't require action by us because it's in the same fiscal year.
Okay, this was last year, I'd be a year younger, but that's another story. Okay, all in favor?
I have to tell Donovan, you're encouraging her.
Well, that's true.
Aye.
Aye.
Any objections, abstentions? No, that's unanimous. Okay. Um, okay, approval of minutes. Of May 19th. Karen, I have to ask you, I was only present to set the mill rate and then I left the meeting. So I don't think I can vote on these minutes, right?
Hmm.
You can abstain and that's okay. Or,
Okay.
or
That's what I would do. Yeah, abstain, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just abstain because I had to leave. Okay. All right, is there a motion to approve the minutes of May 19?
Okay, so moved.
Dwight
Second.
has it and
Second.
Donovan seconded. Any discussion, concerns, objection, corrections? Nope. All in favor?
I have a question.
Oh,
Just
wait, there's a question.
I have a question. Dwight, were you not at the meeting? Do I not see? Under Board of Finance present? You see that, Karen?
I'm not sure. I thought I was, but maybe not.
no, because he didn't even make a liaison report. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, he did. Sorry.
Yep.
I'll
Yeah,
add
so-
him.
We'll make that adjustment.
Okay.
Good catch. Any
you.
other corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Dwight, Ellen, Donovan?
Aye.
Favor? Okay, any objections? I'll abstain. Okay. And we have item number 5 on the agenda is we have to approve the suspense list. That's where we take things off the rolls, right?
They come off the rolls as a collectible, as a liability, like a accounts receivable on our books, but we still try and collect it. We don't
Okay.
not collect it. It just comes off of our books as a receivable.
Okay.
So
Is there a motion to approve the suspense list?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Dwight's got the second. Any questions, discussion? Tone, you want to explain anything about this?
no, we do this every year. It's
Okay.
and it's
Okay.
a state requirement.
Ellen has a question.
I have a question. Maybe it was something, didn't we do this just recently or we did something like it?
It was the preliminary, so you could review it and then we vote on it in June.
Ah, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So Tony, this gets removed from the balance sheet as an asset
Correct.
and expensed. It's not
Correct.
an expense.
Right, correct. We still collect them, try and collect it, but it's removed as an asset on the balance sheet, correct?
Gotcha.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We've got unanimous here. Any objections, abstentions? No. Okay. Okay, Beth, you want to give a first selectmen's report?
I would be happy to. Thank you so much. Just some highlights from the Board of Selectmen. Happily, I can report that last week I got a call from Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro. And since 2019, if you can recall, I've been working with her office to get the Army Corps of Engineers feasibility study seeking recommendations for remediation in Lower Woodbridge along the West River and Knowles Pond. She called to let me know that the Army Corps of Engineers has finally signed off on phase 1 of the study, which will determine the cost of the second level study to do the study. Think about that for a minute. It's government. What can I tell you? That will recommend if or how when we should proceed to alleviate flooding in the area. Over the years, as you all know, flooding has been an increasing problem as more and more silt is built up in the pond and there's nowhere for the water to go. So every time it rains, the water goes in basements. they did, I remember when Ellen was first selectman, we had the removal of the Pond Lily Dam and did alleviate some of the problems. But it still remains almost every time we have a storm. As I said, the houses and also the businesses in the area flood. Hopefully, this is at least a beginning to get a study of a study to determine the study. It's moving much slower, unfortunately, than I would have hoped, but we do have some progress in the right direction at least. Just an update to the town's affordable housing plan, perhaps a PSA. You guys understand it, but just for the folks that are tuned in tonight, the Board of Selectmen at its special meeting on May 25th, 2022, voted to approve and adopt the Affordable Housing Plan, which was prepared by the town's Housing Study Committee. I'm extremely pleased that the committee completed its work by the state deadline of June 1st, and we did submit it actually May 31st, 2022. Woodbridge is one of only about half of the municipalities in the state of Connecticut that submitted its plan prior to the deadline. We've heard from several residents who are unhappy about the town-owned properties listed as sites, which may be considered for housing. The mere fact that these properties were listed by the committee in no way means that they will be sites for housing. The Housing Committee included those sites, as well as other privately owned properties, due to their size and access to sewer and water. Also, the filing of the plan does not limit the town's ability to modify the plan at any time in the future. The town has wide discretion to amend the plan at any time after filing, and also we must review and review the plan within 5 years. One last update, the board's strategic plan subcommittee is nearly done with their plan. They're planning to invite different boards and commissions to visit the board throughout the year and update them on the work outlined in the plan. The plan has 3 main focus areas: ensuring financial stability, maintaining and investing in town infrastructure and facilities, and improving quality of life. My goal is to also use the strategic plan to outline projects that could be accomplished with the ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act funding. As a reminder, the town received, 2.6, right, Tony? Or we will shortly. We have 1.3 already, and I believe this month. I sign a paper tomorrow and we get the second half.
Correct. You sign it tomorrow, we get the second half.
Just
But
kidding.
that doesn't include our sidewalk money, right?
Oh, no,
No,
that's
that's separate.
And then
Okay.
and the $2 million for the community center and the shed and the senior center. We have a lot of, good things. So
And don't forget the 18 cents that we're giving back take that off.
awesome. I know that'll help. That'll go a long way. An eighth of a croissant over at Cafe Rebelde, I guess.
There you go.
That'll cover. We're obligated to spend the ARPA money, if I'm correct, by the end of 2024. Tony?
It has to be obligated by the end of 2024 and
Yeah.
spent by the end of 2026.
Yeah. Okay. That's actually written on my paper, and I didn't look at my paper. Thank you. And the strategic plan, for those in the audience or you guys are interested, is on the Board of Selectmen's page on the town website. And please, we welcome feedback always. And with that, I will thank everyone for speak. And if you have any questions, shout them out. Hearing none, I will mute myself again.
Thank you, Beth. Liaison reports. I'll start. I don't have one because the library devoted itself to being a voting space for the Amity budget for their what would normally be their meeting. So they're actually not meeting until next week, the Library Commission. Donovan, you have anything?
Our meeting is scheduled for next week.
Okay. Ellen?
No, police commission meeting was rescheduled, then was coming up and now has been canceled, so.
Okay. White?
I have 2.
Oh. There you go.
I attended the rec commission meeting on Monday, May 23rd. They went through their normal stuff. The pool, all the lessons are going well, and they're still being safe with with COVID. So they're keeping all the distance and all that, but everything's going well. They approved of the personnel for the summer camp staff. So Johnny's gearing up, and they're going to be starting camp a week from this coming Monday. So, they start, the fitness center's going really well. It's being well used. Okay, the outdoor facilities are okay. The courts are being filled every day. So everybody's playing tennis. So the spring programs ended on May 28th, and now they're gearing up for summer camp and all that. And the financial report is basically on target, which is normally it's a recurring thing every year, but it looks like they're going to be okay. And that's what I have for recreation. I attended the Human Services meeting via Zoom on June 6th. One of the topics they discussed was the renovation of the senior center, the route to bid. What I understand, and Tony, the bids are due on June 22nd. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, the bids are due and everybody's excited. And I guess you had 22 firms.
Yeah, a lot of firms at the
Pretty
the
good.
pre-bid, yeah.
They attended, so, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good thing. So hopefully, let's see. Were there a lot of questions that came up?
We
Lot of-
received 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 RFIs.
Anything major or anything, or no?
Yeah, it's mostly, what is the detail here? What's the color there? That kind of thing. Yeah, stuff like that.
Okay. Okay.
That's
The
good though.
volunteer event, or the appreciation event, was held on June 1st, which I was at, and it was a beautiful event. About 100 people showed up, and it was very, very nice. I saw Beth gave a nice intro too, so it was really nice. The Center Building Rental Committee, I'm chairing that. We're looking at expanding the police department and human services, which is the main focus. We're looking at mechanical, electrical upgrades, the envelope roof, and also the finishes within the building. So we'll be getting back together probably in another week and a half, 2 weeks, so we can start going out and looking for an architectural firm. On youth services, the first Selectmen's Youth Award was awarded, and it went to Ava Shambrum. So, and it was very nice. I know the family very well, so it's really nice. They're trying to fill the job bank with teens. So they're looking for anybody who's looking for work, yard work or whatever it is, call them over there. They hosted a yearbook signing event on June 14th at the middle school with an ice cream social, which was nice. They held an end of the year party for the 7th and 8th grades on May 13th. And what I understand, about 118 students attended, which was nice. So it was well attended. And they're hosting a 7th grade event at Amity Middle School on August 24th for all the 6th graders who are going to be entering 7th grade. So it's just an intro into the thing. So the senior center, they hosted the Mother's Day luncheon, which was a drive-through, and about 95 residents took part of it. They're offering a lot of stuff, health and welfare stuff, better balance. There's a program for better balance and all that for seniors. So that's nice. And all the programs are ongoing. Staffing, they hired a new driver, which they really needed. And when I hear he's working out very well. And then with regard to grants, they were not awarded funding for the ARPA grant, which they went for in January, but they're hopeful that in the future they will be able to get more grants. And that's my report.
Very good. Anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved. Dwight's got the second.
Yep.
We're all done.
Thank
Okay.
you. Kristen.
Excellent
All
job.
right, everybody.